Just wait a second. Just wait a second. Wait a second. I'll be able to move in like 2 seconds. Just like I'm just deciding not to move for a moment, okay? I don't always have to be, with movement. Not all the time. I can decide to just sit here for like a minute or two. Yeah, no, see now I've decided to move. See? I'm a person. I have feelings and emotions, and sometimes if I want to just stand perfectly still, I will do so. And it may happen to line up with the fact that I may have forgotten to turn on my phone or something, or the tracker, as sometimes I call it, but it has nothing to do with that. I just decide to stand still for a little bit. But hello, everyone. Hello, how you doing? It's nice to see all of you. Hello, Rory. Thank you for the lurk. I hope you have a nice lurk. Hello, Mayume. Hello, Banana. Hello, Hello, Lila. Hello, Dixia. Hi. How you guys doing? How you guys doing? I hope you're all having a very, very nice time. A very, very nice, start of the week. For most people, the start of the week isn't the best part of the week, but, maybe some of you enjoy the start of the week. You might play Kingdom Hearts as you listen. Sounds good, Banana. But it's nice to see you. It's been a million years since you've caught a stream. That's okay. People come and go. It's okay. It's the way things are. It's the myth, the man, the legend. I don't know about that, but myth, definitely. I can say only for like 10 minutes, but I wanted to pop in and say hello. Hello, Dixie. It's nice to see you. How are you? It's very nice to see you. Well, since Automat decided not to like me, it was better a few minutes ago. Get auto-modded, nerd. Excuse me. You frozen like the snails you stepped on? No. See, they're just eating. So you aren't the man? Where's the bikini? Are you saying a man can't wear a bikini? I guess then it's called a mankini, isn't it? Or am I making that up? I don't know. I've seen certain individuals wearing bikinis. Not any man. The man. It exists. For many different people's enjoyment, such a thing does exist. I'm actually going to very quickly go do something. Oh wait, no, hang on. I can do it from here. Okay. Alright, we all good. Did you see what you posted in the food channel? You're very happy with yourself. Let me go take a look. Let me go take a look at what you posted in the food channel. Let me see. You made this chicken, then a mix of Mexican-style cheese blend and Colby Jack. What's Colby Jack? Then bacon, 1/4 cup of 2% milk with cream of chicken soup, then added stuffing on top, then about an 1/8 cup, unsure, of bacon grease, and 1/2 cup of butter poured directly on top before baked at 350 for 45 minutes. That does look delicious. That does look very yum. Very, as the kids say, yummers. I would definitely try that. I feel like I'd be very full after it, though. That's the thing. I feel like I'd be like, I'd eat too much, and I'd be like, oh, I shouldn't have eaten that much. But yeah, today was nice. Today was a nice day. Colby Jack is a type of cheese. I see. See, to me, like American cheese, I always just think of the sliced cheese. Like, not the sliced cheese, like the cheese slices in like the little plastic. Don't you guys, is that called like government cheese or something? I remember hearing about that type of cheese before. Like, someone called it government cheese or something. But I don't know if that's what government cheese is. I can send the technical recipe, but I put the entirety of it with the photo. That's okay. Send it into the food Discord if you like. It's kind of neat having different recipes and stuff here and there. Excuse me. But yeah, today went kind of nice. Today was kind of quick. It's thankfully calmed down a lot for me, calmed down a good bit for me. So I'm able to relax a little. I'm not as absolutely stressed as I am. Excuse me. American cheese is the delicious slices made from processed cheese. I see, I see. I will say the cheese slices in plastic that I've had that definitely contributed to like the many plastic particles in my body. Haru, don't pinch me. Don't pinch me while I'm talking about plastic particles. Microplastics. You're gonna get when you pinch me too hard, you get microplastics in your skin. You accidentally fell asleep sitting, your neck hurts. Oh no, Haru, that's the worst. The delicious was meant to say deli, but autocorrected decided no. It decided you really like sliced cheese. The deli slices made from processed cheese. I see. As long as you have a basic recipe, then you can mix and match and add however you want. Hang on, let me. I got like a really stuffy nose for most of the day today. It was really lame. I don't know if it's possibly that I might be catching something because there was something going around a little bit. Disgusting unless for grilled cheese. I will say it does make a pretty good grilled cheese. When you put it like just on some toast or like on some bread and then you just put it under the grill and it makes it all like bubbly. You get like those little kind of like slightly burnt spots that kind of like are a little bubbly. It's very good. Love grilled cheese. Y'all making me hungry. We're immediately talking about food. But that wasn't my fault. You like provolone? Provolone. Is that how you pronounce it? That I feel like that's not how you pronounce it. And Munster. The food segment is early, huh? Yeah. Mayume posted something in the food Discord and it looked very tasty. So we immediately started talking about food. Oh, no, my... wait. We good. Oh, yo. We're okay. I had a nice like Chinese on Saturday. Very tasty. I don't even know if it was Chinese. It was just like a chicken with like this really spicy sauce and rice. So it was of some Asian variety. I can say that for certain because that's where it was like Asian fusion dish. Yeah, that's probably the best term for it. But I do apologize for the small, I won't say lack of streams. Technically, I think I only streamed like maybe once or twice last week. But I was also I did the D&D session. And I also did the Daya's dialogues. So I feel like that counted. That counts because I was literally like doing things stream related. Not very healthy for my channel, I will say. Probably not. Probably not very healthy for the channel, but... We make do. Was also probably not very healthy. Just in general for my overall health is me deciding to re-download Skyrim. No, wasn't there. Not you. That's your fault, Haru. You should have been there. I was streaming with Regu and Gelteron and Jisha and Ace and Sterling. Wait, was that everyone? Ace, Jisha, Gelteron, Sterling, and Regu. Yes. You missed it earlier, Haru. He was frozen. I was like I chose to be frozen. I got a concussion last week at work because the floor was littered in boxes and I tripped on one coming off a step stool. Why were there boxes on the floor? And I hope you fucking... Like, that's a bad, unsafe working environment. I hope your work has fucking health insurance. Manager was lazy? Well, fucking manager better get ready to... I hope they fucking pay out. Abso-fucking-lutely not. You don't get hurt. You don't get hurt on... like, a work time. Because of unsafe working conditions. Then again, that's America, I assume. So, you guys, it could be a little tricky. You have workers' comp for the appointments. That's good. That's very much needed. You might sue it might be difficult to get like video camera, but if there is, I would assume there's video camera. There'd have to be video camera. The quicker you do it, the quicker the quicker you can make sure that they can't go like, oh no, sorry, that was deleted like 2 weeks ago. We delete every day. Every day we delete every day. Yeah, they have video. Get their ass, banana. Get their ass. Get yourself a payday. Hopefully, I hope. I would hope you get a good payday. You watch back the video, you've lost memory of the event because of a concussion. You watch back and you're like dancing on the stool. It's like, this was clearly your fault, Mr. Banana or Mrs. Banana. I forget. I forget which. I only remember vaguely what happened. I kind of have that as well. He, him. Gotcha. Mr. Banana. When I got concussed playing rugby, I have, like, memories of before and after, but, like, there is definitely a little blank spot. Like, a momentary couple of seconds, maybe, like, 10 seconds either side. That's kind of like, it's hazy. If they worked at your dad's company, they'd be let go for not being careful, because the company would rather lose him than pay for his care and possibly risk being sued. Oh, you're talking about if Banana was there. Well, like firing your employee after they get hurt. That's a dangerous thing. I mean, that already puts you in a bad position. That's technically illegal in Wisconsin. That's good. I'm glad you have like workers' protection like that. Retaliation. Or they them in a pinch. Gotcha. But yeah, sorry, I was saying. Something probably deleterious to my health I have done is re-download Skyrim. Well, really download Skyrim. I never played Skyrim on the PC, even though I definitely put hundreds of hours into the original game, the original like 2011, like PS3 and Xbox, and then also PS4, the upgraded versions when they came out, the DLC versions. I have bought Skyrim like 5 times. Todd Howard, you did it. I know you did it, and I can't. You got me, Todd. You got me. You made me buy Skyrim like 5 or 6 times, but I don't care. The amount of like joy and happiness I got out of that game, and I know I can already hear the Morrowind boys, and I really enjoy Morrowind too. You guys should know I am a big fan of Morrowind. And I love the lore around it and stuff. But I think just even from a nostalgic aspect, Skyrim just has a certain feel about it. And I always felt like it's such a pretty game. It's such a beautiful game. Like, there's so many points where, even in the base game, before you go into modded graphics or anything, you could just walk around and, like, if you just stand at like, a hill, you just have a beautiful view. The sky and everything. It just really feels like they did a really great job. I definitely recognize that there's issues, which I have now gotten into modded Skyrim, which is a brand new experience for me. Nah, they wouldn't be fired because they could be sued for unlawful termination. But if they're like, go, it's somehow different. But if I remember in my state, you can be fired for any reason without being told why. So, wow, that sounds terrible. That sounds terrible. I imagine there has to be some laws around that. It can't be like, oh, you or like truck ran over your leg because we didn't park it properly. Well, sorry, buddy, you're fired. You're let go. Surely there has to be something there. Or it might just be like, well, no, go. It might just be like a libertarian's dream where it's like, well, you shouldn't have been in front of their property. You shouldn't have touched their property. Their property had the right to defend itself from your transgression of daring to stand in front of the moving vehicle. But yeah, I started making like my own mod list because I was like following the modding guide, and I had like downloaded like 40 mods, which were all mainly like frameworks and some basic stuff like bug fixes and all that type of stuff. And then I realized that the one I was mainly using, a lot of it was still good, but the I should probably be talking a little bit softer, shouldn't I? It's fine. It's fine. This is the chatting segment before regular stream. The mod list I was apparently mainly using as like a framework, as like a basis, was heavily outdated. So that kind of put me off for like a day, and I was like, I don't even want to try it anymore. And then I found out about Wabbajack. Wabbajack, having gone through it once, I must say I'm very impressed. It is basically mod lists. It is entire mod lists that people upload, and these things are huge. The current one that I'm playing is probably, I think, about 120 to 130 gigabytes, including the normal Skyrim game, which puts it at about 110, 115 gigabytes of mods and adjustments and texture packs and bug fixes and extra just mods in general. And you can download all of this at a click of a button. Now, I did have to go and pay for a premium membership on Nexus Mods, but I mean, it's kind of worth it when you just get a fully functioning, fully prepared mod list that's heavily curated. I went for a Vanilla Plus experience. I went for the Gates of Sovngarde, and I've been really enjoying it. The game looks so good for one. Like, some of the faces are it's almost weird seeing these like very quite pretty and handsome faces on the characters, but it still kind of fits. It still fits a good bit. They did call you in your appointment, told you you're rushing to get things done, and then they suggested negligence on your behalf. I said no, I can rush, but also be safe. They tried to catch you, bitches. I'd say don't even say you were rushing unless you like especially if you can't remember. Like, don't even give them anything like, I can rush but also be safe. Like, don't even give them anything like that. Just be like, no, if they want to talk about, like, who's to blame, they can do that in, like, under arbitration or something. They can do that between your lawyer and theirs. Don't even give them the opportunity to try and catch you on something like that. You also said that while concussed. Oh, yeah. So that's another point that you can bring up. That, like, you weren't even in the right state of mind. You were concussed. And as someone who has been concussed, you're definitely, like, kind of out of it for a little bit. For at least a day or two, you're kind of shaky. Yeah, I got my concussion from a rugby match. I took a tackle. I think it was a knee. Yeah, I think I got kneed into the head. And that kind of shook my brain a little bit. The irritability and emotional stuff from it too. I imagine it's a pretty scary moment because, I mean, if you get a concussion, it could have been a hell of a lot worse. That's the reality of accidents at work. That's why, as ridiculous as some of those videos can be, where it's like, don't do this, and it's like a guy, he's standing next to a massive rock grinder, and he's wearing like a fucking a really loose top or something. I don't know. I'm trying to think of like something with a lot of threads on it and that like hanging off it. And then the thread gets caught on the rock grinder and he gets like pulled in and it goes like crunch, crunch, crunch. And it's like, you don't want to be that guy, do you? It's like, no, I don't. But there's a reason why they focus on that type of stuff, because things can go very badly very quickly. When I was 7-ish, the neighbor boy rammed their bike into mine, and stupid me wasn't wearing a helmet, so you went over the handlebars onto the road and got a big old goose egg on your forehead. Aww. Poor Mayume. I'm glad you're okay, though. As okay as you could be after the goose egg. I could have broken something. 100%. 100%. 100% you could have broken something. You could have seriously hurt yourself. Like your dress, but ripped. Exactly. Like my dress. Like, imagine if I'm standing next to, like... you know what? Let's not imagine that. I don't want to imagine gore on stream, actually. Never mind. I did remember to take pics of the storage room, so that's good. That's very good. Very good. Very smart. I've seen enough videos like that I don't even, like... I think I talked about this before. I don't think with you guys, but I talked about this before with like other people, and I was like, I can watch those type of videos. I can watch videos where it's like quite, you know, not good stuff. Let's say, let's just put it that way. Uh Gore of my favorite character on my timeline, and it's like they have like the tiniest paper cut. Is that gore of my comfort character? And it's like they have a boo boo. They have a little boo boo with a bandage on it. Thank you for the head pat, Mayume. Thank you, thank you. I'll pay Rua instead. Okay, I'll send those head pats over to you. I head pat you through Rua too. Oh. Okay, I feel like I'm getting the best part of this deal. Hello, Pip. It's nice to see you. How's the Pipster? Don't pay Ua, he greedy. He's gonna take all the shmoney. I will take all the shmoney, but I'll hand over the head pats though. Yeah. But yeah. So I remember I said before that like I can watch those things. I can watch them, but and I won't like gawk at them unless they're particularly bad. But we won't go too far into that. But I remember when you're younger, I feel like you have a. I can't believe I say when you're younger. Congrats, Harry. You get to call me old. But like when you're like, you know, you're just like, oh, look at this crazy stuff. Oh my god, look at this video. Whoa, and it's like horrific. It's like you have a deep, morbid curiosity about these type of things. And now I just find like I look at these and like I just feel bad. I just feel like I'm watching something horrible happened to someone who has a family, has friends who miss them, and this is on screen. This is on YouTube or on, you know, you can find this stuff. What a horrible thing. And I just feel bad when I think about those type of things when I see them. But I'm still young, you old fat. Call me fat. Don't say fat. Say fat.
Call me an old fart. At least have the courtesy of calling me something correct. Why you gotta use that Gen Z language? Or the Gen Out, whatever your fucking generations are. It sounds like I'm having a heart attack.
Hello, legend. It's nice to see you. How do you guys think of my old man voice? You're not even uncle, you're grams.
Don't be mean to your grandpa, Mayume.
It's okay, I'm old too. Suits you perfectly. I disagree. Gen Z, Gen Alpha, trying to bring that 67. Oh, see, I'm not brain rotted enough in here too. I go take your meds, Grandpa, but that'll make you guys disappear, and I don't want you guys to disappear. What's going on? Is something not working? No. Everything's good, Pip. I'm just like talking about stuff. You're just tired. How about you? I hope you get time to rest, Pippo. I hope you get time to rest and go sleepies. Speaking of old, you have your birthday on Friday. Ooh, happy birthday, Banana! Just in case I don't stream, we'll do a quick one right now. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Banana. Happy birthday to you. Yay! May 1st, your first birthday. My first birthday? That's amazing. I didn't know you were only 1 year of age. You're a very talented baby. You're a very talented baby. Is that even legal to hire you? I can't believe your company is like trying to gaslight a baby too. That's fucked up. Owen needs to send you a voice message of him singing. Okay, fine. I'll put it into the Discord. I'll put it into the Discord and I'll sing it. You have a degree in infant. That was you had to take business and one language. So rather than thinking like French or German or something, you took infant. Oh god. Okay. I really need to think to myself after stream, buy a new mic stand. That's something I really need to do. Google Gaga. Don't forget to put on your calendar. That's a good point. If this wouldn't stop fucking falling, fuck me. Fucking microphone stand just won't hold up. I don't know what that like. It was Australian at first, and then it became something else. So Friday, I go Friday, and I go happy birthday for banana. Na 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 na. There we go. Now I'll remember. Now I'll remember. Put on your Santa list. Pip, that's a very long way away. Well, actually, no. Maybe it won't be, considering how fast this year is going. It's already like the end of the what? Like what the fuck, dude? It's already the end of April. It's May. The end of next month, we'll be at like the midpoint of the year. Well, no, sorry, like 2 months. But even still, buy a mic stand later. Thanks, Haru. Don't remind me. I'm trying to forget about finals. You'll do amazing, Haru. I believe in you. Rue needs to exchange a sock mic for a thigh-high mic. It's not a sock. It's a cloth. Okay? It's a cloth. Maybe I should do, though. But no, I do need to just buy a new one and just solve this issue once and for all, because it's just silly. It's just ridiculous. It's a used hard sock. That is disgusting, Haru. Never say that again. And a sock is made of cloth. It is. But not all cloth is a sock. Socks are typically cloth, but cloth does not automatically mean that it is a sock. I'll say it again later. Thank you. I got another sneeze. Okay, we're back. We're back. We're so back. Socks can fit on something else too, your hands. And those called mittens for sock puppets. Oh yeah, that's true. So yeah, those are called sock puppets, not mittens. I do like mittens though. I do like you know the no fingers gloves. I like those. They're cute. They're very wintry. But yeah, I feel like this year is going really quick already. It's like fucking April. It's the end of April. It's scary. You put them under your ears to be silly. Oh, that's a good point. We call them fingerless gloves. See, if you said fingerless gloves to me, I'm thinking of like the e-boy finger gloves. I'm thinking like the fingerless gloves that Fua definitely has a pair of. He definitely has a pair of those. I use a sock to make a beanie for your babies. That's a good idea. That actually works quite well. But yeah, see, I think of like the fingerless gloves that the e-boy has, and then he has like all the rings on his fingers too. And then he has like those rings that have like the chains connecting them on the fingers. Maybe like the middle finger to the thumb. Use socks to warm your feet because they're warm. That's a good idea. I don't think a lot of people do that. I don't think a lot of people use socks on their feet. That's very innovative. Very innovative, certainly. Can be made into tiny plushies. Oh, that kind of would be cute. That can be a little cute. But yeah, I've been playing a lot of Skyrim recently, and well, by a lot I mean I've only played a few hours, but it's a very unique experience. Playing with a massive mod pack, 120 gigabytes, I think I said, literally 2,100 mods I had to download. Now a lot of them are like accessories to other mods and stuff, but still, the full list of downloads was 2,100. Probably like maybe like 20 of those are like kind of things that help with the mods. Rip your storage. There's this thing called Windorstat. So WINDIORSTAT. And what it does is that it can actually break down. It doesn't like break it down. It doesn't like smash it. You can do that with a hammer. This is an application, just to be clear. No more space for Genchuki pics. Don't worry, I still have like 100 gigabytes or something, like 120. Um, but it actually is able to like show you your storage, and it will rank things by size. It's really good. It'll show you where most of your storage is being taken up. So I've used it before. I knew that Baldur's Gate 3 was taking up a lot of space. It's 100 terabytes now. I said gigabytes. No, it's not 100 terabytes. Uh oh, excuse me. All that space is for Genzuki, definitely. But I cleared out a lot of. I spent like a few days. No, I spent like a day just kind of looking through. Not even a day. I spent like 2 hours maybe, just like going through, being like, what things can I move? What things can I delete? And it was actually good because I cleared like a good, I want to say 380 gigabytes of space because it was starting to get kind of full up. It's starting to get kind of full. And that freed me up to download another game or two, and then also the Skyrim and its mod pack. And I'm not even like, oh yeah, my SSD I think is about a terabyte. So I have a good amount of space. Hello, Alex Lee, Young Book, Sung Min in the building. Welcome in, Sung Min. It's nice to meet you. Thank you for the first time, chat. I do apologize if you're looking for some immediate ASMR or book reading. This is kind of our just chatting portion of the stream. You need that storage. I have a 1 terabyte SSD, and then I have a wait, is it 2 terabytes or 1 terabyte? Let me check. It's a 2 terabyte hard drive, HDD. The SSD is obviously better because that's allows for faster memory usage. Speaking of games, I woke up to the new PV of Lads today. I saw your note, like your status update. I got a notification from Discord on that, and all it said was, "Oh my God, Caleb." So I was like, "Oh, something's happened anyway." Fuckers banging right on my eye buggers. Ew. What book are you reading? We are reading Brian Boru and the Battle of Clontarf. We'll be getting into it in a little bit. I promise. But it is. Let me read the back of it. Brian Boru is the most famous Irish person before the modern era, whose death at the Battle of Clontarf in 1014 is one of the few events in the whole of Ireland's medieval history to retain a place in popular imagination. Once we are told that Brian, the great Christian king, gave his life in the battle on Good Friday against pagan Viking enemies, whose defeat banished them from Viking forever. This is kind of a detailed historical look at the events. It's we've gotten a good chunk. We've gotten about a decent bit in. So this guy is like the Irish Dale Earnhardt. Yes, he's the Dale Earnhardt of Irish history. If you were to apply Irish history onto what did he do again? What's that called? I know it's the racing. It's not Formula One. It's on wait, is it NASCAR? Is that the one that's called? NASCAR, that's it, yeah. All I know, whenever I think of NASCAR, I don't even know if this is the right one, because this might be Formula One. But I always think of that guy that's like, they're going real fast and real left. Real fast and real left. Vroom, vroom. I love that guy. That guy was incredible. I don't think he knew what century he was in. He knew he was in NASCAR. He knew they were going fast and they were going left. That's all he needed to know. But man, that guy was not looking in the same place with both eyes. You should read Butcher and Blackbird series. I don't get a lot of time to read, unfortunately, but I will take a look at it. I'll take a look at it. I'll like read a little bit about it. But yeah, I did get that notification, Haru, about you and your lads, boys. I hope the new thing was good, whatever it was. I'm scared to like type in lads Caleb new thing. I'm worried what that might bring. Oh my god, I have like a sniffly nose. It's the worst. I just hope, because someone I knew was quite sick. Why is these Discord giving people notifications for your status change? I don't know. There's only two people that it does it for. It does it for you. It does it for you, Haru, and it does it for my friend Q. And I always see Q as like working, sleeping, nap time. He updates it a lot. It gave Wads one too. Yeah, I don't know. It just does stuff. They were what? Huh? They were doing what in the war? They were doing what in the water? How could they? I hope that isn't drinking water. Hey, I shouldn't have said that. That's they'll sell like the bottled water where they'll claim it happened. You should read the trigger warning first. Don't bonk me, legend. Don't be mean to me. Vrua. It's Rua's face on Lightning McQueen. Not the sex water. Well, I mean, like, if you're gonna do that, so you may as well. Like, I don't know how the game works, but if I was them, I'd include like a new collectible. Just call it sex water. Remember that song? What's that song? I wanna have sex on the beach. Come on, there's a party, sex on the beach. Yeah, that one just popped into my head. I have notifications for Discord off because shit keeps pinging. I'm impressed that you always manage to show up for my streams. Then, thank you. Give me a notification every time one of my friends join VC streams on VC or ew, that's disgusting, Mayume. I'm glad it doesn't do that for me. That would be the worst. I because you end up following a lot of people and friending a lot of people as a VTuber. A lot of people you don't even like end up talking to. You join so many like Discords too. I have like a box, a singular box or like group in Discord that I just put all the people that I never really truly interacted with. Oh, not on Discord, not Twitch. Oh no, that's what I was saying. On Did I say Twitch or Discord? On Discord. I woke up because I felt like you're streaming. You just have an intuition. That's very impressive. I'm very impressed with you. There are too many pings. I get that as well though on Twitch. Bro just knew. She did. Sis just knew. Did they say bro a lot? Do they say sis? Do the kids these days say sis? Sis just knew. Are you psychic or something? Yeah, Haru. What's the winning lottery numbers? Please tell me. No, we're not doing that type of ASMR. Okay, fine. Fine. Only once. If you do it again, I'm going to ignore it, and you're going to waste your money. I'm going to waste your money. I'm telling you that right now. You're going to waste your money. Hello, Veniline. Thank you for the follow, and thank you, Haru. Thank you, Mayume, for the face hold. And thank you earlier for the follow as well. Thank you, Alex. When I'm emotionally distraught, I can't do the intuition thingy. Requiem of the Rose King. Okay, Haru. I hate having to say these words. I really hate having to say these words because of what you just put into the thing. And I feel like it's not true, and these are lies, and these are forced words that I'm about to have to say. Hello, Vanny. Thank you for the first time chat. It's nice to meet you. These are fake words. I'm being forced to say them. You spam my chat with 6 sevens. So, just know that as I say these, there's no genuine feeling behind it. There is no passion. There is no love. There's not even a like. There is a disdain as I say, good Haru. Good Haru. Good. No, don't. Do not draw me doing the 6-7. Do not draw me doing Gen Alpha brain rot. I beg you. That's worse than being drawn pregnant. You can draw me pregnant again. Do not draw me doing 6-7. You pissed me off because why you 6-7'd in my chat. I'm gonna hammer your fake words. But okay, because fine. Haru, good Haru. You're such a good Haru. It's weird doing this without the 3DO mic, but good Haru. I'm like not even in the mind frame of doing it well. Sorry, it's actually like weird. I can't. It's either 6-7 or 69. You gotta pick cringe late 60s number. The latter, the original cringe 90s or 60s number. Oh my god, hang on, I got No. I didn't realize what direction I was facing. I just went through like a sneezing fit of like 3 sneezes. Draw you 6-9 with. If you're gonna draw me in that way, at least draw me with someone I'd want to do that with. Face poked. I can't believe Pip. You got. Were those all directly on my nose? No, you look like his wife. God, you're such an old person, Haru. The Shrek meme is so old at this stage. Oh my god. ASMR, everybody, by the way. I learned art to make cursed stuff. Not really, it's to draw hot people. I see. Ugh. I don't think this is ASMR anymore. Well, I was about to say it's time to get into our reading. It's time to get into the reading stream. You just look like his wife's gingers. Look like his wife. Misogyny. Haru, how could you be misogynistic to me? How could you be so misogynistic to me? How dare you? Very bold. I really love the scene in the original where like she's whistling and all the birds are coming to her, and then she whistles too loud and the bird explodes. Okay, so thank you, May. Thank you. In Shrek 1, Pip. But okay. I'm gonna go Eep, Nini. Good Nimeume. Well, you know what? Good timing, because I'm about to start the actual reading portion of the stream. I'm about to start the part where you guys just have me on in the background. You relax, you work on whatever you're doing. Maybe you pop in to say some stuff, say some cursed stuff, distract me. Maybe you get cozy and you do go drink before you read. That's a good idea. That's a very good idea. And considering the fact that I just sneezed like 3 times earlier. My throat definitely needs it. So I will be back in a second after grabbing some water. Oh wait, no, I have to change. I have to change that. Graben water. Bro learned from his lesson earlier, and that I did. That I 100% did. Too bad. Ugh, let me get in close. There we go. Which talked about. You're gonna go hibernate now. Have a good hibernation. Hello, Sochi. It's nice to see you. How are you? How you doing, Sochi? I hope you're having a nice day, a nice start to your week. You just joined as we're about to get into the actual reading. I'm going to try and get this in a way where I can kind of sit back a little. I don't have my neck too far forward. maybe really hunched over. Get into a good, comfortable position for the reading. But yeah, we return to Brian Boru in the Battle of Clontarf. After having gone through all the areas of Ireland and all the different peoples that inhabited it, as well as some of the conflicts that were occurring between both the Irish kings that inhabited the area, as well as the invasion, the beginnings of the Viking invasion, and some of the successful and at times not so successful repulsion of those Vikings. We now get into technically part 1 of the book, because everything before this has been the introduction. Brian Boru's World. And we get into chapter 1 of this, the family of Brian Boru. We must not think of Brian Boru as a man raised from the dust, a pauper turned prince. He was born into nobility. True, as we have seen, this wider dynastic group to which he belonged has a name, the Deity, or the Deity. That means vassalry, but it does not imply non-noble status, merely a position subordinate to the main royal lineages of Munster, the Onocta. The Dais Tuaskert. Brian belonged to a branch of the Deisi called Dais Tuaskert, Northern Dais, and they get honourable mention in public affairs as far back as the year 680, or thereabouts, where an ordinance was promulgated in West Munster called Coin Fuathaba, which stands for Fuathbra's Law. This contains a catalogue of southern lords, among whom we find the King of the Dais Tuaskert, although his name was not given. Some years later, in 697, a great gathering of the kings and leading churchmen of Ireland, Dalriata and Pickland, were held at Beer in County Offaly, at which the Coin Adamnon's Law was put into effect, otherwise known as Lex Innocentium, Law of the Innocents. It was a remarkable measure for protecting non-combatants, women, children, and clerics, from violence and the effects of war by means of a system of fines and guarantors. It's very cool. Push-ups. Oh, Sochi, why? Why would you do this to me? Okay. I'll go do push-ups. Where is it? He hates me. He makes me do push-ups all the time. Leave a bit of air in real quick. There just isn't enough wind outside to bring in like the cool air. Okay, let me do some push-ups real quick. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Whew, okay. There's some push-ups for you. Did you do the push-ups? I did do the push-ups, legend. I did 30 push-ups. Ooh. It's always like fine doing them, and then like it takes like 30 seconds for like the, I guess the exercise. No, it's the same word, but thing to come hit me. You can't even do one. What if you did it on your knees, Haru? They do like the girl push-ups, as they're called. Your ass too big. But your ass has nothing to do about it, Haru. I'm gonna stick to my squats. You know what? You do you, Haru. I believe in you. Gravity. Oh. 2 seconds. Excuse me. I'm back. Gravity. Think about it. was all I get on your knees was all I heard in the middle of you playing Kingdom Hearts, and I was so confused. No, you should know by now that this is a say so stream, and I would never say those things. Face poke, how dare you? Right on the nose. You didn't even say sucka. Say so, my ass. Yeah, I'm big say so, just like your ass. Oh my god. I'm sorry, this is meant to be ASMR. I'm so dumb. I'm so stupid. I'm sorry. I felt my core tense and I laughed really loud. Felt like you're about to decapitate someone. More like say so. Shut up. Okay. We were only like a few paragraphs in, so it's okay. It's okay. God, I'll never make it an ASMR. You know what? I'm actually gonna change it. I'm changing it today. Oh, I forgot. It's writing and reading, not reading and writing. It's a goddamn just fucking like Twitch is so dumb about that. I still hate that. ASMR bros crackling and hollering over here. Don't be mean to me. Anyway. Write a fanfic. No. Thank you for the hydrate banana. I will indeed. Take a sip. That was a good sipper. Oh my god. I almost spilled fucking water all over my keyboard. That was scary. That was very scary, I'm not gonna lie. I'm putting this down on the floor. It's in a bottle, but okay. We're all good. We're all relaxed. We can all calm down. Now you're gonna kick it. No. I put it to the side of me. It's safe. It's in a bottle now, so it's like it's like tight. It's like bottled. Okay. The coin Adamnon's law was put into effect, otherwise known as the Lex Innocentium, the law of the innocents. It was a remarkable measure for protecting non-combatants, women, children, and clerics from violence and the effects of wars by means of systems of fines and guarantors. Included in the list of guarantors are 91 senior Irish and Scottish ecclesiastical and secular figures, and among the two dozen or so Munster kings listed, we find Anlehe, or Andale, king of the Danish Tuskert. This Andaleth, or Anlid, as the genealogists call him, had a brother who was credited with bestowing Inish Sibton, King's Island at Limerick, on Saint Mencken, or Mochen, which true would prove that the dynasty ruled that area by the late 7th century. And what the annals for 744 bluntly describe as the destruction of Corco Mrud by the Daesh was presumably a milestone on the advance of the Daesh court of the Daesh Tuskert in County Clare, as this was the Corcru Mrud's homeland. This would explain why Ainlid's grandson, Torpaid, who died in the late 760s, is styled in one set of the annals Tegerna na Daeshi, Lord of the Daeshi, and in another Rigcorg Macdrud, King of Corco Mrud. We Thairdelbeg. But Anlid and Torpaid were not direct ancestors of Brian. They, and no doubt several of their heirs as kings of the Daesh Tuskert, were of the branch of the dynasty called the Ui Onguso, descended from Ainlid's great-grandfather Ongus, or Angus, son of Cairn Finn, son of Blat, who lived around the year 600. Instead, Brian's people were descended from Ongus's brother, Ochu Baldurg, and their lineage name was Uataldelbeg, Tairdelbeg, from an eponymous Tairdelbeg, who lived 7 generations before Brian, sometime in the 8th century. Terdelbach, that's it, Terdelbach, had 5 sons, one of whom was Saint Flannon of Killaloe, whose accounts for the family patronage of this ecclesiastical site. If these traditions are true, and as Terdelbach probably lived before the Viking Age, this area, very much the dynasty's later heartland, was presumably theirs already at that time. From another of Terdelbach's sons, Math Gamon, the lineage traced the descent through his son and Lone. Traced his descent through his son and Lone. The latter, the genealogists tell us, had one son, Cork, who in turn had only one son, Lochna, who, rather remarkably, also only had one son, showing how fragile a lineage can be. And he was Brian's grandfather, Lorcan. We do not know when or how Uí Terdelbach managed to outmaneuver their Uí Onguso kinsman and gain the ascendancy. One possibility is that the latter was undermined by the Vikings of Limerick. We know from the annals that the year 836 witnessed a slaughter. Where were we? A slaughter of battle over the Deis Tuaisceart by the heathens, Caha Forsin Deis Tuaisceart Ogentib, and the pseudo-historical tract called Coga Gael Rigalav, the War of the Irish with the Foreigners, places among the events of the following year a revenge victory of the Deis Tuaisceart on Loch Derg, although Limerick is not specifically mentioned in either account. By 845, however, there was known to be a Viking fleet operating out of this Shannon estuary. Its forces raided inland to capture the abbot of Armagh, then making a circuit of the district at Clun Cormada, or Camarda, and brought him back to hostage to Long of Lumnig, the ships in the estuary at or near Limerick. When this later became a permanent base, the Viking fortress was on Inish Shivton, King's Island, and we have seen that this may previously have belonged to the Uí Onguso, if the tradition of their granting a church site there, the Saint Machin, is to be believed. Oh my god, I feel like I'm going to sneeze. I just have this, for the past 2 minutes, I've just had this feeling right up in my nose that I'm going to sneeze. It is the worst feeling ever. I hate these. I hate this. I hate getting sick. I feel like I'm getting more and more sick as the last few days have been going on. All we can say for certain is that by the time of Brian's grandfather, Lorcan, and even his great-grandfather, Lochna, the Uongeso were in rapid decline, and a transfer of power to Brian's line of the dynasty was in prospect. We can tell this from the very first recorded mention of the Uí Terdelbach. It is in a version of the tripartite life of St. Patrick that was probably written sometime after 900 or so, which, in describing Patrick's alleged journeys around Ireland, is careful to include encounters with all the people who matter. It is interesting, therefore, that the account of the saint's journey through North Munster has him at Saingel, or Singland, just east of Limerick, where he met a certain Cahan Finn, or Carhan Finn, son of Blat. This man was the father of both Ongus, an ancestor of the Uí Ongeso, and Eachú Baldurg, from whom the Uí Terdelbach descend. If the Ongesu were still at the top, we might expect some mention. Instead, Cahan Finn is simply ancestor of Clan Terdelbach. What is more, we are told that before being blessed and baptized by Patrick, all Cahan's children were born deformed, but that the saint worked a miracle that brought forth Eachú, who was given the name Baldurg, red spot or red member, in memory of the blood clot from which Patrick created him. Obviously, the author is working hard to prove that the rightful kings of the Deis Tuaisceart are the Uí Terdelbach. Brian's earliest known family members. The earliest members of Brian's family mentioned in a historical record, other than a later genealogy, are Conadar and Enalicius of the Teirdelbeag, who are said to have been killed at the great battle of Bealach Mugna, Balamoon in County Carlow, in 908. Brian's grandfather, Lorcan, Lorcan, was probably the head of the lineage at this point, and Conadar and Aelicius may have been his siblings, and perhaps they were unknown to later genealogists because of their early death without issue. Bealach Mugna was the battle in which the Unail king of Tara, Flan Shinna of Clan Colmain, triumphed over the Oanocht king of Cashel, Cormac mac Cullanon. But the Teirdelbeag died fighting on the latter's losing side. If true, this is potentially significant because such an association with the Oanachta might help well explain how the Teirdelbeag came to displace their Ongesu kinsmen. The problem is that the story of the men's deaths is not preserved in the straightforward, annalistic accounts of the battle, but rather in so-called fragmentary annals of Ireland, a later narrative in which the bare contemporary record has much been embellished for literary effect, so perhaps we should not read too much into it. Interestingly, though, appended to the annals entry is a poem on which the battle that also refers to Conadar and Aelicius. It is ascribed to Dalan mac Murra, the earliest of the Irish court poets, to the Felain king of Leinster, Kerbal mac Morchan, who died in 908. And 6 poems survive that are generally thought to be authentic. If Dalan's poem is genuine, it would obviously serve to corroborate the annals account, especially as part of it, though unfortunately not the Quorain referring to Conadar and Aelicius, is attested elsewhere, being preserved in the annals of the 4 masters. The Mag Aedar inauguration site. As well as listing Conadar and Aelicius among the dead in the Battle of Balamoon, Dalan refers to Conadar as being of Mag Aedar, Conadar din Adar Veg, and Aelicius as of the Borama, Aelicius din Boruva. Mag Aedar, Mire Park, is a plain between Tulla and Quinn in which the dynasty's inauguration site was situated, and this flat-topped mound still survives, surrounded by a bank and ditch, not far from which is a stone pillar that may also have played a part in the inauguration of the king. The site also had a sacred keek tree called a billa, which evidently played a role in the fertility rite that was part of the royal inauguration ceremony, during which, at a later period, presumably reflecting an ancient ritual, the new king was conferred with a white wand called the Rod of Kingship, the Slot na Riga, which was doubtlessly cut from the sacred tree. The significance of this tree as a symbol of sovereignty is evident from enemy attacks on it. In 981, when the king of Tara brought an army south to counter the rising threat from Brian, the Billa of Onach Meg Aedar was cut after being dug from the earth along with its roots. Billa Enug Mega Ahader, the Teishkig Erna Tolkelt, a Talvean Conaferviv, presumably in an attempt to deny Brian his legitimacy. But another was apparently planted in its place, because we know that 70 years later, the Billa of Mag Aedar was felled by Ead Ua Corhur, Billa Mag Aedar, the Torskrid, the Ead of Corhur, when the latter king of Connacht invaded Munster. The mention of 981, that the sacred tree was in Onach Meg Aedar is also significant, because it shows that Mag Aedar was not merely Brian's inauguration place, but the site of the dynasty's Onach, the meeting place for the assembly of its inhabitants, where public business was conducted, where the king might promulgate an ordinance at a time of crisis, where sporting contests took place between the communities, and which no doubt a marketplace evolved, and thus in later Irish the word Éanach came to mean a fair or a market. Indeed, the great Limerick antiquary Thomas Johnson Westrup visited the site in 1891 and reported that even the older peasantry remembered its great meetings, held down to the time of the famine, no doubt a survival of the ancient fair or merrymaking of Enig Mag Eder. What am I looking at here? Aru. Gender bent ua and fua yori fpreg. Do you need to specify fpreg if that's the case? Isn't that just regular pregnant? Okay, I'm gonna go back to my book. Borama. The Annalicius who died in 908 is referred to in Dalan's poem as of the Borama. The word Borama comes from Borim or Boreme, cattle counting, and came to mean cattle tribute. But the Borama of the poem is a place that presumably got its name because it is where cattle were offered as tribute, were gathered and counted. About Abu, I guess. Twist plot, you're both Omegas. Oh my god. I know a little bit about it, but Fua knows a lot more about those type of universes than I do. I'm gonna take a sip of water. He's told me many interesting things about the strange worlds, all the different universes. Your bottoms. I'll fucking bottom you into a grave, you nerd. Where were we? Oh yeah. The place in question, sometimes called Borama and sometimes Bel Borem, the mouth of Borama or the entrance to Borama, is an impressively large ring fort on the west bank of the Shannon, less than 2 kilometres north of Killaloe. It may have taken its name from the ford at Killaloe on the Shannon, which is called, or where the bridge is now, which is called Á na Borem. Either because it was the ford the cattle tribute was traditionally brought across, or because it was the ford one crossed to get to Borama. Presumably, Annalicius, Lucius, no, not Lucius, Annie Islis, is referred to in Dalan's poem as of the Borama because of the belief that he resided in or was associated with the great ring fort of that name. Can't believe you got Jesus doing 6-7 while searching for references. I feel like that's blasphemy and that person should be smited. The word Borama, of course, gives us Brian's famous epithet, generally anglicised as Boru. There was always been a doubt about whether he got the nickname because of a reputation for imposing cattle tribute, or because of an association with a place called Borama, or Bel Borem, near Killaloe. In other words, is he Brian of the cattle tribute, or Brian of Bel Borem? The balance of the evidence favours the latter explanation. There is one piece of evidence that would point to Brian of the cattle tribute, and this is a poem by the great 12th century historian and bardic poet Gilla na Neam Uadun, who died in 1160, which refers to the Battle of Clontarf as the Battle of Brian of the Cattle, Caught Vrian in Boor. Evidently, if he was Brian of a place called Borama rather than a thing called Borama, cattle tribute, the confusion began early. We must balance Uadun's poetic reference against another in a poem on the subject of 3 famous trees in Ireland that is said to have been written by Brian's famous contemporary Cuan Ua Lochon, who died in 1024. A man who would have known Brian well, having served at the court of his rival and predecessor as High King, Mael Shachnail MacDonald. In this poem, the author specifically refers to him as Brian of Ireland from Borama. This strikingly parallels the poem ascribed to Dalan MacMurra, that describes Brian's putative ancestor, Annihilus, as of the Borama. The historical tract on Brian, called Gael Rigaliv, refers to Brian's dynasty as Dal Keish of Borama, which includes an eulogy for Brian's brother, Math Gomain, in which the latter is styled Fiery King of Borama, and specifically includes Borama among the fortifications of Munster that it claims Brian built. In a eulogy allegedly written for Taig Ua Caelig, the king of Ua Main, who died fighting alongside Brian at Clontarf, the High King is referred to variously as Brian Boraim and Brian Burren, and as the latter refers to a place, the Burren in County Clare, it heightens the chances that the former does likewise, the ring fort at Borama or Bel Boraim. Let me take another sip of water. I think because I'm kind of feeling a little bit sick, like I'm just kind of stuffed up. I think I'm getting it more in the throat more than usual. All those sneezes can't be good either, I have to say. If this poem, sometimes ascribed to Mercertig MacLeiach, died in 1014 or 1016, was genuinely of that vintage, it would be the earliest occurrence of the famous sobriquet. Sobriquet. How do you pronounce that word? Sobriquet. Pronunciation. Hang on. If I go definition, that'll bring up the Google version of it. Sobriquet. Sobriquet. I see. Sobriquet. There we go. The occurrence of the famous sobriquet, but there are reasons for doubting it. Likewise, he is called Brian Boraim in an entry of the Annals of Tigernach for the year 992, but which annals one can never rule out the possibility that they have been tampered with at a later date. At least with a poem it was harder to do this, as the requirement for rhyme and alliteration minimizes the opportunities to cut and paste. As against this, we can reasonably be confident at the early date of the king list preserved in the Book of Leinster, attributed to the 11th century historian and poet Gilla Coman, which describes the destruction of Brian Boraim. Other evidence suggests that there is every likelihood, that Brian did have Borama as one of his principal residences, along with Cain Corrid, usually anglicised as Kincora, which seems to have been slightly further south, overlooking Killaloe. Borama occurs as a site of importance as early as 879, when we are told that Flann Sinna, the king of Tara, caused the laying waste of Munster from where Borama is to Cork. This Borama may refer to the ford at Killaloe, the boundaries of the dynastic territory as listed in a tract preserved in a famous 12th century codex. Includes the area from the ford of Borama in the east westward to Loop Head. We can see the association of the residences at Borama and Cain Corrid from, for example, the invasion of Munster that happened in 1116. Under the rising king of Connacht, Taird Albach Ua Crahur, so that he burned and demolished Borama and Cain Corrid. Gorgolushk, agus Gordovur, Borava, agus Cain Cora. Little remains of the latter. It is said to have been where the Catholic Church in Killaloe now stands, but Borama is still a magnificent site, which was excavated by archaeologists in 1961. Although the site was then and is still heavily overgrown by trees, it was established that it comprised a typical ring fort or rath, with a circular earthen rampart that was revetted in stone on the outside. The wooden building was unearthed, which measured internally about 4 meters by 2.5 meters, and had a central hearth. More importantly, in connecting Borama with Brian's family, a silver coin was found inside this house and another just outside of it, both of which were minted in Dublin in the 11th century, probably between 1035 and 1070, and were presumably captured or exchanged and brought south to Borama, when it was a residence of Brian's son Doncad, or his grandson Terdelbach. Excuse me, I had another sip of water. I'm definitely needing it. When did we start actually? What did we start at? Okay, we're doing okay. I would have liked to get more done. Or I'd like to get a little bit more done. In 934, the death took place of a man called Rebchan Mac Mohla, described in the annals of Inishfallen as Abbot of Tuamgraney and King of Dalkesh. The news is remarkable in a number of ways. It is not particularly surprising that the person in question was both an abbot and a king. In the preceding 100 years or so, there had been a series of prominent Oanocta overkings of Munster, who were also in holy orders, beginning perhaps with the celebrated Fed Liman Mac Crimhain, 820 to 47, an ecclesiastic linked to the ascetic Cayley Day movement, who variously obtained for himself the abbacies of Cork and Clontarf. Hello, Miss Shadow. Welcome in, welcome in. Thank you very much for the first time chat. It's nice to meet you. We're just doing a little bit of reading about Irish history. Olcaber Mac Cineda of the Oanocta. Éanna was a king of Cashel and abbot of Emly, as was one of his immediate successors, Cain Féile Ua Muthagarin of the Oanocht Éher Keelk Cormac. Okay, it's just a load of names of examples of kings and who are also abbots. You'll be doing edits, you think, tonight. Very cool. I hope you get a nice bit of work done on whatever you're working on. So the fact that the Rebeccan, who died in 934, could hold down the abbacy of Tuamgraney and the dynasty kingship is not without precedence. What is new is his royal site. King of is his royal style. King of Dalkesh, Re Dalkesh. This term, Dalkesh, the share of Cass, survives in no earlier record. It is a term that would forever afterwards be associated with Brian Boru and his descendants and the area of North Munster from which he hailed. But, so far as we can tell, it is an entirely new concoction coined at this time for the peoples who were previously known as the Daish Tushkert. They took this new name from a supposed ancestor called Cass, or Cass with two S's, who was the fecund father of 13 fecund sons, including Blat, father of Cairn Finn, father of both Echu Balderg, from whom Brian's lineage of Ua Terdalbeg descend, and Ongus, from whom their collateral rivals, the Ui Ongusu, descend. From Blat and his busy brothers collectively, Dalkesh, a whole army of conquering aristocrats, claimed descent. Your second book? Ooh, very cool. Very nice. I hope you're getting far along with it and it's developing very nicely. I'm not a writer. I did a little bit of fanfic writing, but that was about it. But I do a decent bit of ASMR style kind of reading. More just something to have on the background while you work. So hopefully this is good. What is more, learned antiquaries of the kind who worked up this theory, no doubt to serve a political rather than a genuine historical purpose, went one step further and suggested that from the Cass who spawned Dalkesh, it was but a hop, skip, jump back to an ancestor called Cormac Cass. This Cormac, it was now propounded, was one of the 7 sons, and there were a dozen others by other wives, that Eliel Olam had with his wife Save. Save was the daughter of Con Caetathuk, ancestor of the Connaughta and the Unail. Such a pedigree, and that's Con of the 100 Battles. Such a pedigree in the female line brought no demonstrable, legal, or lordly advantage, but it was a nice injunction of blue blood all the same. More importantly, Eliel Olam was the founder of most of the leading royal lines of Munster. The Owen Mar, who gave us the Owen Octa, was his son, and now, by this newly fabricated theory, Cormac Cass, the supposed ancestor of Brian and his family, became one of the many brothers of Owen Mar, on a par with the aristocrats who had ruled Munster since the dawn of history. These are bold statements, and evidently they were concocted on behalf of the people who now call themselves Dal Caish, or Dal Cass, for one purpose and one purpose only, to demonstrate that they were just as entitled to the Oanachta to rule Munster. Yours is Shifter Fantasy. Shifter is that I'm reminded of that movie Shifter. Wasn't that where they could teleport all over the world or something? Or am I completely misunderstanding? The breakthrough of Brian's family. In the 920s, there seems to have been a new vibrancy to Viking activity on the doorstep of the Dal Cash. The Koga records that Tomrar, son of Helgi, king of an immense fleet, Rig Longs Abalmore, took possession of Inish Sivthon, King's Island at Limerick, and ravaged the greater part of Munster. The Annals, a version of which the author of the Koga is using, also tells us that in 922 this Jarl of the foreigners was on the Shannon estuary, Tomrer Mc Elgi Ilar dot Galib for Lumnook, that he plundered the isles of Loch Derg, including Inishkeltra. The Koga added that they drowned in its shrines, relics, and books, and then attacked Terryglass, Laura, and Clonfert, and then sailed further up the Shannon and burned Clan MacNoise, proceeding on to Loch Ree to ravage its islands, doing likewise in Unail territory in Meath, and, the Koga says, in South Connaught, and took great booty in gold, silver, and much treasure back to the Shannon estuary. It is at this point that the author of the Koga inserts his famous remarks about the Jarl, Ottar the Black, Ottar Dub, who came with 100 ships to Waterford and ravaged East and South Munster, and put all under tribute and service to the foreigners. Fachan Orcus Fogel Shinna, Gal Ula Eid, and levied his royal rent, Achish Riegda, so that, quote, the whole of Munster became filled with immense floods and countless sea vomitings of ships and boats and fleets, so that there was not a harbour, nor a landing port, nor a dune, nor a fortress, nor a fastness in all Munster without fleets of Danes and foreigners, or longus da Mark Orcus Almurch. And assuredly the evil which Ireland had hitherto suffered was as nothing compared to the evils inflicted by these parties. The entirety of Munster, without distinction, was plundered by them on all sides and devastated, and they spread themselves over Munster and built duna and fortresses and landing ports all over Ireland, and so that there was no place in Ireland without numerous fleets of Danes and foreigners, so that they made spoil land and sword land and conquered land of her throughout her breadth and generally, and they ravaged her tuatha, and her privileged churches and her sacred places, and they rent her shrines and her reliquaries and her books. In short, until the sand of the sea or the grass of the field or the stars of the heaven are counted, it will not be easy to recount or to enumerate or to relate what all the Goyle, all without distinction, suffered from them. What the Gael, all without distinction, suffered from them. Whether man or women, boys or girls, lay or cleric, freemen or serfs, old or young, indignity, outrage, injury, and oppression. In a word, they killed kings and lords, royal heirs, the royal princes of Ireland. They killed the brave and valiant, the stout warriors, champions and soldiers, and young lords, and greater parts of the heroes and warriors of the entire Gael. And they brought them under tribute and servitude, and reduced them to bondage and slavery. Many were the blooming, lively women, and the modest, mild, comely maidens, and the pleasant, noble, stately, blue-eyed young women, and the gentle, well-brought-up youths, and the intelligent, valiant champions, whom they carried off into oppression and bondage over the broad green sea. Obviously, we must take this with an even larger pinch of salt than usual, given that the sole purpose of this stirring overture is to set the scene for what follows, namely that Munster, and indeed Ireland, needed Brian's family to ride to the rescue. The Coga tells us, there was, however, a certain gracious, noble, high-born, beautiful sept in Ireland, who never submitted to tyranny or oppression or unwanted injury from any other sept in the world, namely, the descendants of Lugaid, son of Ongus Taoireach, great-grandson of Cormac Cass, who are called Dal Cass of Borama, one of the two pillars, along with the Oanocta, of the nobility, and one of the two houses that always sustained the rule and sovereignty of Ireland. It was not therefore honourable to the minds or to the courage of the nature of these champions, who never brooked justice or tyranny from any king of the kings of Ireland, and not only that, but who never gave them pledges or hostages and tokens of obedience, to submit of their own accord to cruel slavery from Danes and from fierce, hard-hearted marauders. I have to say that I gotta read that Koga. That thing seems like it's very well, like, kind of enjoyably written. I'm feeling like the burning passion of, like, let's go. This is nothing short of propaganda on behalf of Brian's dynasty, but it contains at least one small germ of truth. Brian's immediate family did break through into the headlines at this very moment, and if they did not save the Irish from the heathen oppressors, perhaps we can at least surmise that there is nonetheless some link, and that part of the explanation for the rise of Brian's family lies in their success in exploiting this new Viking energy for their own ends. When they did come to the fore in the 930s, their advance was dramatic and bloody. The abbot of Tumgraney, Reb Khan MacMohla, who died as king of Dalkesh in 934, does not seem to have been a member of Brian's lineage of Ua Teirdalbeag. According to a later source, he belonged to a branch of Ua Onguso called Ua Cairnig. But although his three predecessors in the kingship were also of the Ua Ongusa, they were of a different branch. This suggests that the Ui Ongusa were splitting themselves into competing lines, and we must assume that what happened next is to be interpreted as Brian's family seizing their opportunity. Excuse me, let me take a drink. I've read a good chunk there now. Excuse me. I hope the different styles of reading, depending on where I am in the reading the Koga or the actual author, is nice. In the same year that Reba Khan died, the annals report that his son, Dub Gilla, was killed in treachery by Conglach, son of Lorcan. Dub Gilla Macarobachan, Tergana Ua Corba, Cormac, Domarvig, La Conglach Mac Lorcan Tri Tangolucht. The culprit was one of four sons, Kennetig, Cosrock, Lungargan, and Conglach, of Brian's grandfather Lorcan. And evidently they were murderously paving their way to power. Oh my god, sorry, I have a cold. Or at least a stuffy nose. Wow, Sari jumped those two. She did. They didn't get even half a second of screen time before she dragged them back out the back and shot them both. We love Sarah, or we, sorry, he. I forget sometimes. He shot them both. Thank you, Sari, for always looking after us. Having performed the assassination, nothing much became of Congaluk, but each of his brothers went on to found substantial lineages. Kennetig, of course, enjoys a place of honour in the history books as the father of Brian, and of other sons who went on to found successful lines of their own. But two prestigious lines of Dalkesh, Clan Corscrig and Ui Longargain, unless the latter spring from the son of Brian's brother Don Cuan, trace their descendants from the other two sons of Lorcan. This suggests, bearing in mind that any preferment among this sprawling family was soon to be swallowed by the large and successful brood of Kennetig, that Corsuk and Longargain offspring were building on foundations laid before Kennetig's sons came of age. So the great leap forward for Brian's family would seem to have come about in a time when his grandfather Lorcan had sons who were both politically active, and before Kennetig's sons elbowed them aside. Your husband is gender fluid now. Brian's father. How long is this little section here? Okay. You know what? If we can get to there, that might not be bad. It's kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages. That's okay. Excuse me. Hang on, let me stand up for a sec. Okay, all good. I just had to check something. If we were to believe the later king lists, it was only when Reabachan Mac Mohala died in 934 that Lorcan himself succeeded as king of Dalcas. But that seemed rather late, given that within a few years it is clear that his oldest son, Kenniantig, Brian's father, is well and truly in charge. Another late source, on Lower Winvanuk, claims that Kennetig, who died in 951, had a reign of 40 years. Not that we can place much trust in this. What little we know for certain is that Kennetig shows us a man capable of mingling on the national stage. He took as his wife, Bebin, daughter of Earcud, son of Mircud, king of Irconocta. Hello, Cloudy. Welcome in, welcome in. Hello, Rory. It's nice to see you. Hello, Cloudy. Hello, Rory. Oh my god, we have more E's. Hello, Cloudy. Hello, Rory. Cloudy raid. Cloudy raid. Is it cloudy with a chance of, hugs? Yeah, we'll go with hugs. Hello, hello. Thank you for raiding me. Let me give you a quick little shout out. Oh wait. Shout out at... There we go. Thank you for the raid. Very much appreciated. 2% chance. That's a small chance for hugs. But I'll take it. But it's nice to meet you. I hope you had a nice stream. Hope you had fun doing whatever. Oh my god, pole dancing bunny. Oh my god, that is a pole dancing bunny. You're not doing many of the big moves. He kind of just going for a spin. Thank you for the shout out. You're welcome. We're just doing a little bit of reading on Irish history. Bet you can do better. Totally, yeah. Definitely. I am genuinely very impressed by pole dancers and their strengths. I don't think, because your ass is big. Are you saying do a pole dancing stream, or because your ass is big, or are you saying do, like I wouldn't do well? He was playing The Walking Dead, it was fun. Ooh, very cool. I remember when that was huge, like the first couple of seasons with Clementine. First. I see. Death the first. Don't encourage her, Rory. He took as his wife Bevi Bibin, daughter of Eircod, son of Merced, king of Ir Connaughta, to the west of Loch Currib. It is from his nephew and Brian's first cousin, Flairbatach, that the great dynasty of Ua Flairbatig, or O'Flaherty, descends. Such a marriage indicates a political preoccupation, on the assumption that all aristocratic alliances were political, focused on yet on the western seaboard. Sorry, I'm on Haru's side. No, don't support her. But thank you again, Cloudy, for the raid. I hope if you need to take some time to rest and relax, please do so. You lucky man, I have free time to do some sketches. You're going to have a big... Yeah, so lucky. So lucky I have such a gracious and sweet artist such as Haru. Thank you, Rory, for the head pat. That is true, though. I do love my artists. I needed a sip of water again. Where were we? With Bibin and other unidentified wives, Kennetig had 12 sons, 5 of whom produced heirs: Brian, Mathgamen, Don Kuhn, Eichdegern, and Onlon, and 7 of whom did not. From genealogies we know the names of Lochna, Finn, Dub, and Marchon, and another 2, Flan and Crahur. Brian's only full brothers are recorded in the 11th and 12th century text called Ban Shenkus, or Lore of Women, while the name of the final son is unknown. Who's making the masterpiece? You heard about Ruadh? No, don't do that, Haru. Don't even look at the references. Kennetig also had a number of daughters, but we know of only one. Her name was Orla, and what we know is extraordinary. The Ban Shenkus includes her as one of the wives of the king of Tara, Don Cadon, who died in 944, son of Flan Shinna. Hello, pretty baddie. Thank you very much for the... You pissed me off. Oh. Thank you for the follow. Son of Flan Shinna. But only the annals known as Chronicon Scotorum informs us that she met her death in 941 when Duncud had her executed for sleeping with Ongus, his son from another marriage. Oh my god. Is that a 6-7 emote? No. Oh my god. You're cringing. You're crying or cringing? Orla Ingid Kinnig, Mek Lorchan do Bas la Doncud, Mac Flain Ri Erin Erna, Lig for Angus for Mach. Excuse me, my nose is sniffly. It's a little bit tough not to. This is the first time one of Brian's siblings appears in a contemporary record, and it is not a very auspicious beginning, but it does help to cast some light on these early stages of their ascent to national prominence. This kind of official execution is a rare occurrent phenomenon. We must assume that it took place because Orla's offence was considered a grave slight to the High King. The fact that she was killed rather than quietly repudiated does rather suggest that her life was taken because she was expendable, her family being of low rank relative to the King of Tara, and is therefore an indication. Right, where were we? That although Brian's family had been rising through the ranks, they had some ways to go. Orla may in fact have been a secondary wife or even a concubine to the High King, given the prevalence of polygamy among Irish aristocrats. Her execution was in 941, and the last of Donca's 4 known wives died 2 years later in 943, when she was at least in her 50s, which would suggest that the marriage took place years earlier. She perhaps began the senior wife at court when Orla arrived. If so, such secondary status would again point to the continuing subordinate role of Brian's family beyond their own locality. Thank you for the hydrate. I do need one. I have a bottle next to me. It's now empty, but I took a big dip. Took a big sip of water. Still, notwithstanding its ignominious end, the very fact that Donka had taken a Dalcash princess in marriage was an acknowledgement that Brian's family was in the ascendant. The marriage had presumably been intended to cement an alliance between the King of Tara and Orla's father, Kinnetig, and probable motivation for such an alliance was mutual animosity with the Onocht King of Munster, Kelachon Cashel, who had come to prominence in the late 1930s, at precisely the same time as Kinnetig. Kelachon had sacked the Unail-sponsored monastery of Clonmacnoise in 936, and 3 years later plundered Unail territory as far as Clonard, which prompted the King of Tara to invade Munster in 940 and take Kelachon's hostages. Perhaps Donca Don linked up with Kinnetig of the Dalcass on this campaign, and the latter's daughter, Orla, may have been married off to the High King as part of her father's diplomacy. Why are you dipping yourself in your water bottle? What if it gets stuck? You better be a hit story on Reddit. How do I get the cylinder out of my water bottle? The cylinder cannot be hurt in any way. Very important. But Kelachon Cashel seemed to have quickly reneged on his submission, because in 941 there was another Unail invasion of Munster, which led to his capture and imprisonment. Kelachon was also at war in these years with Osrig and with the Deity of southeast Munster. It is not hard to imagine Kennetig and his sons making the most of Kelachon's distractions by fomenting trouble for him and putting themselves forward as an alternative focus for the loyalties of the Munstermen. We must conclude, therefore, that there was much going on behind the scenes in these years, of which we only get the occasional dramatic glimpse. Such was the case, for example, in 944, when we read in the Annals of Ulster that the Battle of Gorthrothcon was won by Kelachon against Tuatmumu, and many fell in it. This is surely the same confrontation that the Four Masters intend, when they report that this year a great victory was gained by Kelachon Cashel over Kinnetig, son of Lorchan, at Magadoon, where many were slain. A calamity that lived so long in the memory of the Dalcash, when the great genealogical collections were being assembled 2 centuries later. The list of Kinnetig's sons lacked the names of some of those who died young, but remember that Finn and Dub were killed in the slaughter of Magdoon. We do not know where either Rothacon or Magadoon were. Presumably the gort or cultivated field of Rothcon was somewhere in the Mag or plain of Doon, but we can take it that this considerable setback for Kinnetig denoted Kelachon's riposte to the challenge that Dalcass king had begun to pose. For that reason, despite the unhappy outcome for Kinnetig and his family, we can nevertheless reckon it a mark of their arrival on centre stage. For one thing, Kelachon Cashel, the Onocht Overking of Munster, was at war with Dalcass only because they had become at best errand vassals, and at worse a threat to his kingship. To the annalistic evidence we can add the less trustworthy testimony of An Laur Muirvanuk that the Dalcass under Kinnetig defeated Kelachon in a battle at Innis Locha, Singland, near Limerick. You forgot you have an assignment? You want to jump off a cliff? Oh my god. How, see, this is what happens when you start trying to draw me 6-7, doing type of stuff like that. Go do your assignment. More importantly, while the account of the Battle of Magdoon specifically cites Kelachon's opponent as Kinnetig and his family, the account of what is probably the same event but under the alternative name of Goth Rohan, has Kelachon doing battle with a Tuath Mumu. This is the first use of the term Tuath Mumu, or North Munster, anglicised as a Thomond in the annals. A version of the tripartite life of St. Patrick may have been written about this time, and it too has Kennetig's lineage of Ua Terdelbeg ruling Tuath Mumu. When you wake up, you will wake up to 6. I don't want to wake up to that, Haru. I don't want to wake up to that at all. That will ruin the start of my day. I'll be like, oh, it's 7 a.m. Time to get up and have a shower, and I'll be like getting into the shower, and I'll see 6, 7, and I'll just want to like sit down in my shower and like be depressed all day. Great. No, why are you eating me? Okay, we're almost there. We're almost there for this section of the book, and then I'll be rating out because my voice is starting to give up just a teeny bit. It seems clear that a term was coined to designate the area over which Kennetig's family had lately become to hold sway, an area of considerable greater than that of their dynastic lands. It is undoubtedly indicates that within Munster a regional rival had emerged to challenge the hegemony of the Oanocta. When it reaches 6-7, 20-6-7, we're fucked. I think by then the meme will have died. If people bring up the meme on that date, it will kind of be funny, though, I will say. We have seen that the men of learning sometimes thought of Munster as being divided into 5 fifths: north, south, east, west, and middle. And by that scheme, the fifth of Tuath Mumu, over which Kennetig now held sway, would not count for much. But it was more common to view Munster as having only 2 parts. And as we've noted earlier, while it is in early centuries, the distinction was between east and west, this changed because of the emergence of the Dal Cas to a north-south split. By the 12th century, it was normal to speak of the 2 provinces of Munster, Tuath Mumu and Deas Mumu, Thomond and Desmond, the former dominated by the descendants of Kennetig and Brian, the Uí Brian, or Brian, the O'Briens, the latter by Cailchon Cashel's descendants, the Mac Carthig, or the MacCarthys. Evidently, the reference to the victory of Cailchon over Tuath Mumu in 944 marks the very emergence of this schism. Perhaps it was for this reason that the 12th century tract known as Cairn Cailchon Cashel, the battle career of Cailchon of Cashel, which seeks to elevate the latter's successes, the Mac Carthig, by emphasizing their martial achievements of their ancestor Cailchon, nevertheless concludes that he and Kennetig came to share the kingship of Munster between them. According to the Cairn, when the great hosts of the 2 provinces of Munster had gathered together to elect a king, they were about to choose between Kennetig of Dalcas and a certain Donca of Onocht Domnoch, according to a system of rotation, whereby the kingship of Munster was shared between the Dalcas and the Onochta, the most senior men of the free kindreds would succeed, and if the overking was of the Oanocta, the position of heir apparent would be held by the Dalcas, and vice versa. Or an fura ba sinna donna sair clanib, damad do clan ogan, interdri, intanishduc do clan Cormac Cass. But neither would succeed unless he were the best in knowledge and true learning and princely honour. At this point, however, Cailchon's mother intervened and reminded them of the rotation agreement that the ancestor of Dalcas had made with his counterpart of the Oanocta, adding that there is no clan Ogan, a man more senior in age and knowledge than you, Kennetig, and he is a king in figure and appearance. When Kennetig asked who she meant, she replied that it was Cailchon. Kennetig then retired from the gathering, but he would not break his brotherhood with the Oanocta. Both he and the other Oanocht candidate withdrew from the contest, because only the Vikings would prosper from a dispute over the succession. This, the Karen claims, is how Kelachon became king, and having waged war on the Vikings, he went to Cashel, where Kennetig and the nobles of the Dal Cash already were, whereupon Kennetig was given the office of heir apparent of Munster, Tulka Tanishdukt Momando, and its kingship after Kelachon. Now we know that until the middle of the 10th century, the Onucht had reigned supreme in Munster, and therefore this myth that they had traditionally shared power with Dalcass must be a creation of the latter. Indeed, it occurs in the Dalcass genealogies in the 12th century codex called Rawlinson B502, and gets perhaps its first and most eloquent iteration in the Koga, which the author of Catherine Calchan had undoubtedly read. Quote, to them Dalcash belonged the lead in entering an enemy's country and the rear on returning, and besides this they had an equal inherited right to Cashel. Every alternate king in Cashel. Hello, Casey Dede. Welcome in. Thank you for the follow. Every alternate king in Cashel. Whenever these conditions were not justly observed to them, the king of Cashel had no claim to anything from them. At first sight, therefore, it seems surprising to find this Dalcass claim to parity being concealed by the author of Catherine Calchon Cashel, which is, after all, a 12th century document written with a pro-Onucht agenda, but it is a testimony to the success of the Dalcash that the Onuchta were forced to swallow their pride and accept the Dalcass myth of their long-standing greatness. What, therefore, the author of Catherine Calchon is doing in the passages above is accepting the reality of the Onuchta's fall and Dalcass's preeminence, and on the principle that half a loaf is better than none, taking the opportunity to remind, hello Poor Arrow, thank you very much for the follow, to remind the descendants of Kennetig, the Uebrian, that they should reciprocate and share Munster with Kelachon's heirs, the Maeg Cairthig. The underlying premise, however, is that Dalcass' greatness is to be traced back to the reign of Kennetig. Brian Boru? Exactly. Unless you're asking Brian Boru with a question mark as to who that is. Brian Boru was a 11th century, 10th to 11th century king of Ireland, king of Munster, and eventually sort of really one of the first to truly be able to claim a high kingship over Ireland. As well as really bucked the trend by moving the high kingship and many of the claims down to Munster, rather than between the O'Neill family of the northern and southern O'Neill of kind of Ulster and Meath. Thank you for the hydrate and the stretch. Let me see. I have a tiny drop of water left, enough to wet my palate. Wow, is it some history book or an epic narrative about him? It is a history book. It is called Brian Boru and the Battle of Clontarf by Sean Duffy. A very good book, and I would highly recommend everyone pick it up if you're interested in this topic. Because obviously, me reading it, your eyes might wander, or your ears might wander, I suppose. But it is a very interesting story to see how they rise, and especially one of my favorite parts of this book is later on when it gets into the actual Battle of Clontarf itself, and how it was perceived by all the different parties, and how it's kind of developed over time. The Battle of Clontarf being kind of the battle of my eyes are wandering, all right. Oh, sure, Haru. Can you join server? You can if you go exactly, Haru. Thank you very much. Unfortunately, and I do apologize, you guys kind of showed up right where I was intending to finish up. I shall join too. Ooh, the more the merrier. As my voice is beginning to go, and I'm not feeling the best right now. So I'm glad you guys joined when you did, and you joined Discord, and you followed me. So you'll be able to catch the next stream, which may not be the reading. Where's your voice going? My voice is going on holidays to a place where it can relax and not be with me. 2 hour reading is intense. A whole uni lecture. It's less 2 hours reading. It's more kind of, I would say, an hour and 10 minutes reading, but also then like, 50 minutes of just chatting and being silly. So yeah, you like the model? Thank you. That's very sweet of you. I really like my model too. I think it's very pretty. Ursula's. Thank you, Legend, for the head pat. 30 minutes of cackling and hollering. Yeah, maybe a little bit. I may have changed my category from ASMR to writing and reading. Oh, I hate that. I hate that it's writing and reading so much. It should be reading and writing. Reading and writing flows so much better than writing and reading. Ursula is taking it. I don't know what that means. Because I was like getting panicked over how loud I was being. But I think we got some really cool little excerpts there, especially from the Koga. I'm gonna have to remember to put this, to publish this from Little Mermaid. Oh, I see. I don't know why you referenced that then. The one who took Ariel's voice. Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense. I'm gonna kick you. What if I kicked you from the stream, though? No, I wouldn't do that. That would be mean. Ugh. Okay, 6'7" man. I am not. You're trying to make me the 6'7" man by drawing me doing the 6'7" meme. It's not fair. I've never done that meme in my life. You'll get a very good morning tomorrow, I hope. I won't say that because I want you to do well. Oh my god, Mike. Mike, you shut up just as I was about to raid out. No. Mike. Mike. Hi, Mike. Why are you unging? Are you unga? Are you unga or are you bunga? It's okay, you were listening in bed. That's good, girl. Were you about to wish I fuck up my assignment? Maybe, but I didn't do it because I don't want that to happen. I want you to do well. I believe in you, Haru. I think you'll do amazing. I like the reading of Brian Boru in the Battle of Clontarf. Thank you. Thank you. It's very kind of you. You followed, so hopefully you'll be able to catch a proper reading soon. We got some pretty neat. I want the reading of Vivek's books. You want me to read like Vivek's sermons? That would be really funny and really wild. He says some. I don't even know if I could read some of those. What if I read The Real Baron Zaya, volumes 1 to 4, especially volume 4, I think. When her in that tavern room, you know what I mean? A certain Khajiit. Just skip the Khajiit part. No. We're gonna read the Khajiit part. Like deadass, the ending of the words was Sivi, deadass girl. I do love that. Sivi, it's always there. I was saying earlier, Mike, that I have made a poor decision for my health in the last few days, over the weekend. I think they only allude to it in the book. No, they don't like. No, I actually think they decently describe it in Daggerfall. I think it's quite fucking explicit, actually. not it's decently. I remember looking it up before. Poor decision. Yeah, I downloaded Skyrim. And I started to look into. You read the Daggerfall and it wasn't that bad. Well, like it's more explicit than you expect. I play Elder Scrolls, Skyrim, and Oblivion. Very nice, very nice. I wanna continue my playthrough of Morrowind though. We're still in Sidenine. I need to actually like play the game for like a few hours. I did make one mistake though with my character creation, and I'm realizing it now. I didn't put anything into like personality or mercantile, which definitely isn't good. Just double down and play Skyrim, I guess. But no, sorry. I never actually got to play modded Skyrim. Like, I always played on consoles for a long, long time, and it's been a long time since I played Skyrim. Played 200 hours. Okay, nonchalant, no personality, man. No, but I just like those are important skills in the game. That's a long time, Casey. I've definitely had characters that like similar hours. Again, you can just go for so long. Just grab a 600 gigabyte mod. Oh no, that's what I did. I grabbed Gates of Sovngarde for a vanilla plus experience. It's about 130 gigabytes, but it was like first I went through and I kind of started like learning how to like mod my own thing. Which like even though I spent like a day or two at it, just downloading like the main things and learning about route building and stuff. Probably not terrible that I went through that, but I didn't really like learn it in depth. You couldn't download those mod packs. I did have to go and buy a premium membership for not Vortex, Nexus mods. You have to manually make yours. Why? Why do you have to? But yeah, I got Gates of Sovngarde and it's wow. Wow. I need to curate it big time. I do get that. There was a few things that like there's things that I'm enjoying. Like I've never modded it before, so like I'm just like everything's new to me. Oh my god, I went to Windhelm, or sorry, not Windhelm, Winterhold. I went to Winterhold, and it was actually a city. Like it was a destroyed city, but I felt like I was looking at a destroyed city. Like I wasn't looking at a fucking like a village with like 2 shacks and a shed and 1 destroyed shed. And keeping the VIP. Okay, fine. I'm glad you're no longer Shadowland. Is it one of those soul-like mod packs? No. It's a vanilla plus experience. But also has that interesting NPCs mod. Some of them are decent. Some of them are a little bit out there. But I've enjoyed them so far. Like there's one who was in the dungeons of Windhelm, who was a little bit edgy. Just a smidge edgy. He was talking about how he doesn't care about Skyrim and the lands and he only cares about power and strength as a real Nord. And then he like committed war crimes with Ulfric in the Rift. And even Galmar Stonefist was like, dude, what the fuck is wrong with you? And then he got locked up. You try out Morrowind's Tamriel Rebuilt and Project Cyrodiil. I want to. I really want to. I like I just don't have time. I don't have time, man, to dedicate myself to like massive gameplays. I'm gonna have to take like 2 weeks off just to do that. I shoot your Skyrim forever. No, because of your job. I know. It was really funny, Mike. Though as part of the mod, I did one of the like alternative starts, and it picked like my goal was to go join the College of Winterhold. So I started all the way down in Riften, and I had some fun, like just traveling and just kind of seeing all the new things, and like learning how the new stuff was going. And only today I got to Winterhold, and I was like amazed at Winterhold, just seeing it like properly expanded. It was incredible. And then I went up to the bridge and I talked to Farandel, and she was like, "Oh yeah, the typical tech voice lines." And then all of a sudden she was like, "Oh, and make sure you pay me the fee as well to join the college." And I was like, "What? Huh? Fee? What are you talking about? I've been traveling from Riften over the last few days to get here. I've been doing a few quests here and there, some odd jobs. I have maybe 700 septums to my name, and that's after buying and selling food and making sure I'm well prepared." "Oh yeah, no, you need like 3,000 septums." I looked at her. And I didn't have that. And I felt really sad. If you came from Riften, you'll be well acquainted with fees. Well, what's funny is I started outside of Riften. I started in the Rift, but like in kind of the mountain region. The worst quest for you in Skyrim was the one where you had to find all 24 stones of Baron Zaya. I remember when I completed that, like anytime I ever complete that, what ends up happening is you get the crown then, and you get the boost from Baron Zaya, and then you're just finding gemstones in everything, and you have too many of them. By the time you get that crown, like you already have too much money. What's your worst quest in Skyrim? I think I'm just generally overall disappointed in the Civil War quest line. It's extremely disappointing. There's one or two neat things. The attack on Whiterun is probably one of the more memorable ones, and then it's like whatever. Attack or defense of Whiterun. It's just like, oh yeah, go attack like this fort, I guess. Go attack this caravan once. Okay, yeah. You attacked the caravan, you captured like 2 forts, and now like all of Skyrim is yours. Time to attack the capital. Good job. But like I was traveling to Riften. I was like, okay, look, I'm gonna get to Riften, I'm gonna get onto the main roads, I'm gonna stock up at Riften, gonna get some like jobs done, get some money, get some gear. I'm a mage, by the way, I'm a high elf mage. And I got to Riften and I walk up and the guy's like, you need there's a fee for entering Riften. No, that's not a Norse voice. Hail, there's a fee for entering Riften. You need to pay to enter our fine city. And I was like, this is obviously a shakedown. And usually when you say that, usually when you do the persuade, this is obviously a shakedown, he'll go, hey, lower your voice. All right, I'll let you in. This time, for the first time in my life, because it was a brand new level 1 character, Mike, he went, I don't care. Either pay up or head off, or get on your way or something. And I stared at him, and I was like, huh? What? Huh? What's going on? And then the fee to get into Riften was like 600 gold. And I just bought a bunch of stuff at the Khajiit caravan right next to me. I didn't have 600 gold. And I couldn't get into Riften. I couldn't go into Riften. And I was sitting there like, oh, okay. I guess I'll just go. And I hiked away from Riften. I didn't get to go in. And it was an amazing, it was weirdly like, huh, that's a new one for me. Look at how lazy everyone is and you're actually doing things. I was very angry when a legionnaire tells you, off the roads, civilian, and you're in full-legged armor. I know, there's things like that are just like, I will say this mod has been incredible. There's a little bit of stuff that's like, I would like to see do a bit better, but this mod list is so big that I don't know anything about like adding other mods. The mage quest line can become glitched if a certain NPC dies and revealing the unseen quest will not start. I think I had that happen on on a playthrough before. Excuse me. But I am actually going to have to raid out. I'm glad I got to talk a little bit more about Skyrim, but I might send like a screenshot or two of Winterhold from the mod pack I'm playing. I was genuinely shocked. Because remember, in Winterhold there is like the tavern, like a house, the Jarl's house, a shack, and like 2 destroyed houses, and that's like fucking that's all that's there. That's all that's there in Winterhold. And then I come to here and it's like actually a city. It's a destroyed city, but it's like a genuine city. I was blown away. I cannot wait to see some of the other places. I can't wait to see Falkreath. I can't wait to see Morthal. I can't believe I'm saying I can't wait to see Morthal. That's how much experiencing Winterhold in my first ever modded playthrough of Skyrim. Have you, Mike, anyone else who's ever played Skyrim? Have you ever heard the words that someone is excited to go to Morthal? I haven't. That's a new thing. I can't believe I said those words. What are you in when you're in Morthal and you ask what's the move? Brother, there is no move. We're in Morthal. Solitude is 5 minutes away. I'm broken and buggy, like scare my enemy, which never leaves a journal quest in the misc. Which one's scare my enemy? I don't remember that one. Gives what no other spell gives in the game. It gives joy and happiness every time you send another goblin somewhere in the direction of Scotland. In Morrowind, they kind of have a Scottish accent, don't they? Seen any elves? Would I have been a good Morrowind Nord? Hey, ale. Seen any? That's all I can do. That's all I remember. And then they all became Nordic. They all became vaguely Viking. You would have been a good forsword. Do I have to go into the silver blood mine? I don't want to go in there. It's dark and I'll get shanked. A meet NPC name discussing a job about violence. Oh, I think I know the one you might be on about. But anyway, I do need to actually go. Thank you guys for joining me. We're going to raid into Vexing Cat, who is... Oh, that's a cute... That's a lot of orange. That's like Velma, but she has orange hair and she's a banani. Wait, no. She's a cat. She's literally called Vexing Cat. I'm very stupid. Anyway, please be nice to Vexing Cat. They're doing a reading of 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea by Jules Verne. So I do hope you guys enjoy that. Thank you very much for doing these sub raids, Haru. Thank you for Steam Unk. Pet. 20,000 bees under the sea. No, 20,000. I think like G's under the sea or something. I don't know. But anyway, leagues. Grev Mila Mahagut and Slán Gafol, and I will see you all next stream. Thank you so much for joining me. Bye bye.